Hello everybody, my name is Professor Dr. Muhammad Tajuddin. Thank you for coming on to my channel, and in this video I would like to give my 3 reasons why I think ZAHID Hamidi might be the next Prime Minister in GE16, whether we like it or not. I feel very sure that this may actually happen. Now, in this video, I will place 3 reasons why I think this might be so. The first reason is with regard to the behavior of the civil society towards the unity government. Number 2, the effect or the influence of the Akmal Saleh tactic or strategy onto the Malay scene. And thirdly, the options that UMNO has in GE16 given their power in the unity government at the moment. Now, with the first reason is about the civil society and personalities in politics that are always criticizing the unity government. For instance, the respected Mariam Mokhtar, who speaks in her comfortable home from the United Kingdom. Now, with civil society, we understand that civil society like Bersih, as well as personalities like Mariam Mokhtar, those entities or personalities that are part of what we call the change in Malaysia, and they represent a very strong force, as well as the force that all of us can hope for, which is to make sure that Malaysia is in the right path. Now, I have no idea that these people are trying to do Malaysia wrong. I think they are trying to set Malaysia straight. But here we must understand intentions, principles, but if you do not have the understanding and the experience of the politics that comes with it in terms of making change, then I think a lot of what is being said and judged becomes very, very dangerous to put people in a different perspective of what actually is happening. For instance, the recent news about Bersih giving a D to the unity government, and specifically to Anwar Ibrahim. Bersih have always been saying things like, oh, Anwar has said this, Anwar has said that, Anwar has disregarded the reformasi promises. I have heard all of this. And I, for one, do not think that Anwar has forgotten any of his promises, because I have been following Anwar Ibrahim and the reformasi movement for 25 years. I think Bersih and a lot of the people there actually were not part of the original reformasi movement, and they did not know what was at stake at that time. I think Bersih only latched on 10 years after that, and this is something of how we see that Bersih does not understand the struggles and the problems and the baggage that comes with the reformasi movement, as well as the change of government in the 2022 for us to look at. And so I think with people like Mariam Mokhtar also, when her podcast only criticizes all the negative aspects of the unity government, saying this is not done, this could be better, this minister is not competent, all these kinds of negative criticism, I feel that these criticisms, although well-intentioned, have not really been placed in a contextual manner. What do I mean by contextual? The simple issue is that could people like those in Bersih or people like Mariam Mokhtar, could they have done any different if they were put in the places of these ministers within the context of the politics and the culture of working in the civil administrative at the particular moment in time? It is easy to just say you should change this like flipping a switch, but culture and politics are not about flipping switches. They take time, they take strategy, they take patience, and these are the aspects which I am very disappointed in terms of how Bersih judge the unity government, as well as people like Mariam Mohtar. These people think that they know better. I'm an academic. I know when I do not know something, but a lot of people thinks that they know things, but when actually they don't. They don't know the inside of things. They do not know how to manage things, and certainly they cannot be in this position of having to change the country if they themselves do not have a political party of their own and did not contest the election. So as the rakyat, I think we should listen to the criticism of the NGOs like Bersih, as well as personalities like Mariam Mohtar, taking what they say, but then we have to put that in context. Because certainly Bersih and Mariam Mohtar do not put these problems in context. They do not provide a clear directions of how to proceed to change. And certainly I do not think that they have the experience to do so. Now, this does not mean that what they say is wrong or something that is not useful. Certainly they are, very much so. But we must all understand between what is said, what we want, and how to change are vastly different things. What we want for our children is this and this. But how do we change that? Well, if they are small, it's easy. You can use power, but when they are already adult, it takes a whole lot of patience, a whole lot of diplomacy, and a whole lot of understanding. And the more so also if you are trying to change your spouse or trying to change your organizations, I'm sure these are all challenges that we all of us have felt. And we should place that within the situation of Anwar Ibrahim and all those people like Rafizi, instead of calling him names and saying that he's not doing this or not doing it well, we should have patience and also should observe what actually is done. And what is done, even though many of it seems not to come to the expectation of a lot of people, but those are the steps that need to be done in order for real change to occur. So real change takes time. Real change takes effort and also diplomacy. And real change takes a lot of patience for us to actually undergo that. Now, the NGOs and people like Mariam Mohtar, although well-intentioned, I think will drive the voters away from coming to vote, and some even might even give protest votes to the other party. And that is fine. That is the right of all of us. But when UMNO wins the lion's share and ZAHID Hamidi becomes the Prime Minister, I think that we all must reflect whether it is us or the people or the NGOs or people like Mariam Mohtar who are wanting to do good, but actually they are part of the ones that will drive people away and therefore produce a situation where Zahid can become the Prime Minister of Malaysia after GE16. Now that's the first one. Now, what is the second part or the second reason that why I think UMNO would get the lion's share of power is because of the Akmal Saleh effect. Many of us think that Akmal Saleh is a loose cannon or even a buffoon or a clown, but actually there is a solid political strategy within himself. I am very sure that he does not have great political ideas, great vision, because if he had, we would have seen it. He would have said it. But all he does is lie in wait until somebody puts up some sort of race or religious issue that he can jump on. Whether it is the opposition, but most of the time it is the DAP. He will always jump on that. And why is that so? It's simply because that it is very easy to drive the Malays back into UMNO by attacking the DAP. And that shows to me that UMNO, although they say they are going to be working with the Pakatan Harapan, may not be holding that card. Most probably they're holding another card. Now, I see that Akmal Saleh's strategy is very, very successful. And this will bring the Malays back. And this will also give a chance for UMNO to become the champions of Malays once again, because I see some of the statements by Parti Islam Malaysia and Bersatu people are not as strong or as dramatic as what Akmal Saleh puts up. So congratulations, Akmal Saleh. I think he is a strong weapon that can make UMNO reclaim its lost territories. And finally, for the third reason, I think that the Chinese, with regard to their feelings towards the DAP, is also having a certain influence, because many of the Chinese or the non-Malays are having the idea that DAP has changed, or that DAP has become MCA, or that DAP is now silent because they are getting a lot of money, wealth, or whatever. And they are expecting DAP to behave the same way when the DAP was in the opposition, and that now they are in the government, they should also be gung-ho, be very, very vocal, be very boisterous like Akmal. And so this will create the idea that is either will make the unity government shaky, or it gives the idea that the non-Malays are no longer in support of the DAP, so there is an erosion of support. So this is also another problem where Malaysians, non-Malays in general, are thinking that DAP perhaps be acting like Akmal Saleh. Of course, they say that no, we don't want to be kurang ajar, but a lot of issues that I have said that you need to be consulted on in terms of Islamic issues, like the halal certificate that Teresa Kok was mentioning, the recent issue of zakat being joked about by Nga Kormeng is also something there, and then the alcohol issue in the mall that was in Penang. There are many issues in which non-Muslims in the DAP have tactically or perhaps carelessly stepped on, and this then creates this tension between Malays and non-Malays, as well as make the AP as if they are the champions of the non-Malays once again. And so this kind of tactic will certainly make Akmal Saleh and the Malays in UMNO more united against the non-Malays, and also make the non-Malays feel that the AP is still being its old self. So all of this will add on to the fact that there will be still animosity and a large distance between Malays and non-Malays, which will result in Malay political party being preferred, whether it is PAS, Bersatu, or UMNO. And some of those who still believe that the DAP should be more and more aggressive than Akmal Saleh, they will probably stay home and not come to vote. So with that, I expect that the DAP can retain perhaps 80% of their seat. I think Pakatan Harapan with PKR and Amanah will lose most of their seats and maybe can retain just maybe 10% of their seats. The lion's share will be won by UMNO. I think UMNO will stay with the Pakatan Harapan until after the GE16, when they will have to come into an agreement as to who shall be in power. So if UMNO does not want to be with PAS and Bersatu because they are also enemy of ZAHID Hamidi, then ZAHID will work with Pakatan Harapan, and perhaps GPS and whoever wins Sabah will come together. But because UMNO will win maybe 50 or 60 seats, they will then be in charge, and obviously the prime ministership must go to UMNO, and that would mean ZAHID Hamidi again. So that is one scenario. The other scenario is that after the general election, if there is a non-agreement by Pakatan Harapan for ZAHID Hamidi to be the prime minister, then ZAHID Hamidi will then offer the UMNO to be in coalition with PAS and Bersatu. And of course, as we have seen, even Perikatan Nasional or some people are believing that even if UMNO pulls out now and they can form a government, it is being offered to Zahid Hamidi. So in all scenarios, the same thing will happen. And so this is where when Zahid Hamidi becomes actually the Prime Minister, it is not due to the disloyalty of UMNO to Pakatan Harapan. It's mostly due to our own doing, which is the NGOs and good people like Mariam Mohtar, as well as the Chinese or the non-Malays who thinks of politics in the same way they have been thinking in a long time. So this is my analysis and this is my take. I believe very strongly that Zahid Hamidi will be the Prime Minister, like it or not. But again, I would like to say this is mostly our doing. So if that happens, we cannot point a finger and say, these people are disloyal, these UMNO people, these Malays are at fault, this and that, this and that. No, it is us. And this is something which we must reflect before 2026 comes around. We only have 1 year to see that what has been criticized may not be so because of the non-consideration of context and also not understanding how the culture of politics work. So I hope that the Malaysians will take into consideration these things and look upon the present unity government with more patience, more understanding, and then to be more critical in listening to comments by NGOs such as Bersih or online media such as Malaysia Kini, as well as people like Mariam Mohtar, who all of them, I think, want a change in Malaysia, but I think that they may not have the right way of approaching it. With that, thank you very much.